when you get on any drug, it can give you some amazing energy and some creative geniuses that just boost you like this.
Anytime that anyone uses any of these drugs or substances of abuse, the brain itself gets affected.
Creatives, their brain never rests. They are inquisitive. They want to unfold or uncover, release things that somebody will be like, wow, how did he get to that frequency?
And when they stand on stage, they mesmerize us. At got to a point in time, I left my comfort zone, my abode, and I came to Medina Ghetto, and I fraternized with rogues and wolves. I became a night owl, always on a wild goose chase. And sometimes making 3 square meals a day seems difficult and almost impossible for me.
This is Noah King, a presenter who once worked with a popular radio station in Accra in the early 2000s. Noah's exceptional presentation skills earned him a lot of admirers. But his promising radio career was truncated when he was plunged into an abyss of drug addiction. Noah King tells me that he started using drugs before he got into the media space. However, he says the situation got worse when he traveled with some musicians for a concert in Tamale. That was when he was introduced to more dangerous drugs.
After advanced level, I was at home doing nothing. And my father, had this koinonia with the musicians. He rolls with them. And then the Kokumba Nanumba war erupted. So the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, the National Security Apparatus thought that it were prudent on their part to organize a peace concert dubbed Operation Gongo in the 3 northern regions so as to forestall peace in the environs. So apparently, my father having, this koinonia with most musicians told one that, yes, I want my son to join you guys so that he can familiarize himself since he's at home doing nothing. So we're airlifted here from Accra to Tamale. When we go to Tamale, the hotel that we were put up, I saw things that were alien to me, things that were foreign to me, things that I never knew anything about, though I had experimented cannabis sativa way back in college, way back in, during my secondary school days. So this time I realized that these things were foreign. And then one guy who was with me, whose name is Kofi, he was pointing to me, this is crack. This, what are you doing is cappuccinos. This is cocktail. And what he's holding is a bunker.
Noah King's curiosity fueled his woes. He was convinced that the source of the assertiveness and the energetic performances of the musicians was drugs.
So when I saw them do that, I said, okay, then this is what gets them euphoric. And when they stand on stage, they mesmerize us. And I said, okay, fine. So when they were done with all that they were doing that very night, we were called upon to clear the residue. And myself and Kofi chanced upon a couple of freebase. When I say freebase, I mean crack on the table and some on the floor. So we took them. And Kofi knows much into it, and therefore he fixed the crack and he took a hit. And he asked me too. I said, yes, I want to try it, because if this is giving them the euphoric and the energy and the drive, then I think it's a good thing. And I tried it, and trust me, I was like a moonraker. I saw myself like an angel suspended in the air.
When they returned to Accra from their concerts in the northern region, Noah could not free himself from the shackles of his newfound love. He spent his money on different types of drugs, including those that would enhance his sexual potency.
So from the experimental stage, I moved to the recreational stage. Apparently, I was getting tuition from them. This will actually let you perform well in bed and all that. And trust me, when I tried it, I realized that it was. But one thing about drug is this: when diminishing returns set in, you will get to understand that no, you're going down on bended knees, and even you wouldn't get erection, let alone ejaculation. Yeah.
The drug addiction had a toll on Noah's work. He would rather spend time in the hazy stupor of his drugs than go to work. Eventually, he was sacked.
It got to a point in time, instead of me going on air, I wouldn't go. I would say, Mufti Dabri, Najib, it is a go play for me. So it got to a point in time, despite says, no, it seems this guy has lost it, has lost focus. And apparently I was relieved of my duties.
Not only did Noah King lose his job, he also lost his family and resorted to sleeping in slums.
One day I went to town, and then before I came back, she packed bag and baggages and left unceremoniously with a young chap, Jaden, and they left. And when I came, I said, oh yes, beautiful. I love it that you guys went. Wow. Reasons being that the little that I have, I can use it to satisfy myself again.
But Noah King is not the only Ghanaian creative that has suffered the scourge of drug addiction. Kiki Jan, Timothy Bentum, OJ Black, Nasty, Lord Kenya, Okonfo Kwade, Sugar Tone, and Red Eye of Too Tough fame have been in this situation. While some are able to overcome it, the addiction knocks others into penury and, in extreme cases, death. But the big question is, which drugs are commonly abused? Dr. Julius Hatcher, a psychiatrist and clinical coordinator of the Pantan Hospital, tells me more.
Commonly, what we are seeing, and the most common substance all around the world, is alcohol. Alcohol is a very, very toxic drug. Unfortunately, it's among all of them the most legal and licit of the drugs. Yes. Whenever you see adverts on TV about liquor or any bitters containing alcohol, they say 18 years and above, but who really checks for ID cards whenever alcohol is being purchased? So alcohol still continues to remain the most predominantly used substance or drug for that matter. Cannabis comes soon after that in our setting, where people use and are able to get at very cheap prices, 2 cedis, 5 cedis, and they are good to go. They still enjoy their high. And then you have the cigarettes or the nicotines around.
This is the Chosen Rehab Center, a facility that offers help to mentally challenged individuals. This was where Red Eye of Too Tough fame, after battling drug addiction in 2023, got relief. The use of drugs is one big problem bedeviling the creative industry. A lot of creatives the world over have lost their lives, their sanity, and their livelihood through drugs. But what really pushes them into this act? Let's find out. The center has a music recording studio, a computer lab, a gym, and an open area suitable for prayer meetings. The Chief Executive Officer of Chosen Rehab Center, Apostle Daniel Kobe Washington, tells me about some of the things that drive creatives into drug use.
Because the brain never rests. Creatives, their brain never rests. They are inquisitive. They want to know more. They want to unfold or uncover, release things that somebody will be like, wow, how did he get to that frequency? How did he get this song? How did he come up with this movie? How did he write that book? You know, because the normal thing is, it doesn't give nobody an high. Something that is common Nobody wants to fall for it, but you want to come up with something different, and that is why they start experimental abuse or drugs. Let me do some weed. Let me do some alcohol. They have the different ways to do that. But the weed is known that it's supposed to broaden or open them up.
According to satirist Kweku Sintim Misa, popularly known as KSM, the biggest push for drug use among talents in the creative industry is the ability of the drugs to evoke wild creative ideas.
They tell you that drugs will enlarge your creative horizon. There are so many things that you can create and do that under normal circumstances you will not be able to. And surprisingly, there's some truth to it.
For most people who use illicit drugs, they start as children or teenagers. The late Lynx Entertainment signee OJ Black is one of those who got trapped in the act when he was but a little boy.
I started smoking when I was very young, very, very little. I started at the age of 11.
11 years?
Yes.
Who introduced you?
No one.
How did it happen?
So I was in a boarding house, and sometimes you see the security, what we used to call watchmen.
Yeah.
Smoking around, seated in their jackets smoking, and I was talking to one of my friend who like, hey Charlie, you see the way this food is smoked, you know? It was like, oh, you go feed smoking. And that was how it started.
I want to sing for the world, sing for my country.
Good, good.
So if I sing and you don't pay me, I don't lose. If you know what you are doing and what the talent is and what it's worth, it's not for the peanut the person is going to give you.
Good. Nasty, a former member of the Lifetime Family Music Group, tells me that his relationship with drugs was birthed during his time in Adisadel College. Little did he know that what made him high for a moment would ruin his life forever.
This whole thing started in school. You understand? This whole drug thing started in school. I said it, and then Adisco guys they say me sell you out. And I'm trying to say about my life story. The Adisco guys are telling me that because I went to Adisada, I'm selling Adisada college guys out. But I'm not gonna lie. I started this drugs around at the year 19. I was a little kid. I was a little bit stubborn because Charlie, and you need something strong. I don't worry. So far as my motive is to stop drugs, I don't want any drug conversation because right now, I'm trying to say no to it more than going to rehab, or they should tight me. They don't want me. You understand? Say no to it. You have the money in your pocket. You say no, you won't buy it. That is real rehab.
Dr. Julius Hatche says drugs impede the normal functioning of the brain.
The whole concept or the whole idea of drug is that it has got a biological basis. Addiction now demonstrates a biological basis, making it clear that any time that anyone uses any of these drugs or substances of abuse, the brain itself gets affected. It halts the maturation of the brain, and to some extent it even causes the brain's maturation to regress. So certain social skills that you would expect that a person will acquire at a certain stage, because of the use of drug, they may not gain or acquire it.
That notwithstanding, the general perception that drugs boost the confidence of creatives is rife among entertainers. Although Noah King agrees with this notion, he cautions that the consequences are dire.
On the problems, you would do better because you can imagine when you are behind the turntable and being highly spirited and the music is going on, and you want to scratch, you want to do this, you talk, you get to the euphoria. So I always have the intuition that no, when I don't get high, I can't perform that well. But it will get to a stage and time where you will no longer use the drug for your work, but the drug will be using you.
For entertainers who depend on drugs for their creative activities, KSM, who admits to attempting drugs in the past, advises that the future is bleak. According to the venerated comedian, people who create works of art without external aids like drugs are usually more successful.
When you get on any drug, it can give you some amazing energy and some creative geniuses that can just boost you like this. You know?
Speaking from personal experience.
Can I finish?
Okay,
That can give you the boost. However, trust me, if you rely on your natural and you give yourself enough time, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. The deception is that one gives you an immediate thing that you can do, and you think, oh, this is it, this is the way out. You know, but the more you do it, the more at the same time it destroys that capacity. You know, so you can be the greatest creative and everything, but later on you realize that it brings you down again very, very, very fast. You know, so my advice is don't depend on any external high to get creative, because it will give you just that boost. You know, but you can't depend on that boost. Now the other question:
Did you ever try it? Any of those drugs?
I tried something. You know, I tried something. Very, very minimal thing to test it. Actually, honestly, you know, I did it. Say, okay, let me see how best it can help me to be creative. You know, and the ideas that I got were all very, very wild. And to me, wow, this thing is amazing. It can give you ideas and things. But then once it starts dying down, then I realize these were not wild ideas. These were stupid things. Yeah. But at that time, you don't care. You think it's, you know. So yeah, for me, it doesn't work. And I think creatives, I believe in what they call the natural high.
Okay.
You know, I believe in what they call the natural high. Creatives who stay natural and depend on the natural high are always more successful and they have longevity than those who depend on the quick high thing. Yeah.
We pray in the mighty name of Jesus Christ.
At the Chosen Rehab Center, Apostle Washington reveals a lot of the people who are brought to his facility for treatment are those who have artistic capabilities, a reason he decided to build a music studio at the premises.
We see that almost 50% of the people that comes in are musically inclined.
Oh, okay.
So either they sing or they rap, or some might say they play drums. So we realize that if we're having a lot of these people, then we need to put in the studio. And God being so good, my background is production. It's because I'm a Grammy-nominated producer in Sweden. So it was easy for me to put together the studio and to teach music lessons and music classes and how to beat making and all of that.
So you personally teach music?
I teach, yeah.
And you have others who help you to do that?
Others. So I've trained a lot of guys. So the guys that you are seeing in the studios over there, they have been taught softwares like Pro Tools, Studio One, Logic, so they can use all these things and make their beats. And production helps because you need some kind of concentration, and if you are able to put the tones together, there's a certain high in it.
Wow.
So that can replace the highness for the drugs that you were feeling for.
For those who find themselves in this situation, all hope is not lost. Dr. Hache suggests ways to help people get out of drug use and its addiction.
In helping people who are into drugs or substance abuse, we have various strategies and approaches, and it's easier when you have the person you are dealing with appreciating the fact that they have a problem that needs to be treated, for that matter. Unfortunately, quite a number of the people who have substance use disorders or addiction issues do not even consider it as a problem until they may hit rock bottom. But once they do, what we do is that we have a process whereby we assess them, because drugs, like I have mentioned or alluded to in the past, have a myriad effect on the human being, and they may have a physical condition that is associated with the drug use. So they need a thorough medical examination, a thorough psychiatric examination, so that we identify some of the underlying medical conditions, some of the underlying psychiatric conditions. Then we can target treatment at them and probably focus subsequently on the drug use.
So, before you think about engaging in drugs to boost your creativity or for other recreational purposes, consider the harking effect it could have on your health, your finances, your family, and the community. Kwame Dazi, Joy News.